So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by Sean Satorsky, and he's the lead singer for the band Daath. And if you remember that band, in the 2005, 2010s, they had, I think, like 3 albums, and I remember a lot of that band. And then, they took a hiatus, so 13 years now, and they are coming back with a new album. So first of all, Sean, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you. Yep.
Awesome. So 13 years later, like I know it's been a while. What made you guys try to put that back together after such a long time?
I think it was a matter of trying to finish old, I guess finish old work. I felt personally, and I think AL said the same, is we never really felt like we had an opportunity to kind of do it with Daath. And when it came time to redo and get back together, I had said to him, and he had said to me, kind of almost at the same time, this has to be the best thing we've ever done, like almost like in harmony with each other. So I think it wasn't necessarily a we broke up or we split. It was just we all got busy doing other things. And I think it was a matter of here's a ticket to the next level. So everyone in the band had just received a ticket to move to the next level. It just wasn't with Daath at that time. And I think it just slowly kind of fizzled. We got busy. And then the more time you're away from it, the harder it is to come back. And I think after all this time, we all kind of had a lull. All the COVID stuff happened. We started kind of talking. I guess your brain kind of starts working. And here we are. And we got a record, and it'll be out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, in May. So how was the fan reaction when you broke the news that you were getting back together with a new album? Because I remember seeing the promo and being like, wow, that's a name I haven't seen in a long time.
I think it started to trickle. It has this trickle effect where I will see people finally see it or catch on and say, "Holy shit, this band's back! What?" So I think the reactions have been very positive. It's very rare there's much negativity. Obviously, we did have to replace a couple of members. They weren't able to do it. They kind of lost interest. But AL and I, retained interest and wanted to continue on. Just I was just looking at some of the video comments recently, and it's funny to see them as you go down. Like 5 days ago, oh my gosh, these guys are back, and then 4 days ago, like what? These guys are back. So I think it's got this trickle down effect where it's slowly coming into people's line of sight, and they're very happy to see it coming back because it brings back those nostalgic feelings from 15 years ago, where some were in high school or some were obviously 15 years younger, and it developed memories listening to us back then. So yeah, it's cool to be back.
Yeah. So how did now that obviously it's almost like a new band because you have new members. How much do you think the new members have changed the sound of Daath? Or do you think I was listening to it and I feel and it still sounded like the band that I remembered?
Well, that's mainly because it was always AL. AL is basically the main composer, main songwriter. He has always been the main composer and songwriter. And in his brain, I would just give, what I wouldn't give to be in his brain for 2 seconds just to see that dude writing, because to see the stuff he's come up with, his dad was a conductor of several orchestras. So he has that in his genes. And so I think the new guys obviously helped contribute by writing their own parts. I mean, we're all professional musicians at this point, and we all had something to contribute. The drums were just next level, and the leads were just unbelievable. The orchestration, the bass, everyone kind of had their own freedom to do whatever um, around what AL was writing. So it was that's why it kind of retains the same sound.
Yeah, and I like that you're following with the old albums that were, the Concealers, the Hinders, and now the new album is called The Deceivers. So
Yeah, the Deceivers. Yeah.
yeah, so tell me a little bit, about the the writing process for this record?
So as far as lyrically, or you just mean overall?
Oh yeah, lyrically and overall.
So lyrically, it was about kind of diving back into that original naming scheme of the hinderers, the concealers. When we did the self-titled record, I kind of pulled away from that just to kind of see. I think at that point we were just fed up with the music industry, so we didn't decide to continue on with the naming scheme. But this particular record, we really tried to follow everything, the music, the lyrics. I dove back in, kind of went back through all the old lyrics, all the old, um, I guess, thought processes of what we went through when we wrote. And, this album really kind of took my breath away. This is a conglomeration of everything that we've all been through throughout the past, however long it's been, or what we've been through in the music business in general, what the new guys bring to the table, and, what AL and I have kind of had happen over the last 15 years. I think this is kind of, like I said, a conglomeration of all of that come together. So musically, obviously, this had to be the best thing we've ever done. We wanted it to sound the best it's ever sounded. When AL and I had spoken, like I said, I had said to him, these vocals have to be the best sounding vocals I've ever done. Because personally, for me, I always do something, and then when I do it, it feels like the raws are always better than when it gets mixed. And then it gets mixed and it kind of just gets compressed, and we move on, and I'm not happy with it. And then the next record, the same thing happens, and then the same thing happens. And, so this one, I said, I need this to just be just the best thing I've ever done. I want to just listen back, and I want to go to the best producer and the best, and then with the same with the music, we wanted to go to the best mixing and the best everything. We just wanted this to be our magnum opus, our Dark Side of the Moon, and I think we've come close. I think we've come close. I don't think we could ever touch those records, but that's kind of our joke. This is our Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't sound like Dark Side of the Moon for people.
No, but just the theory of the album, of how it's kind of there.
Okay,
that's
and you have a few guest stars on this album.
Yeah.
A few of the songs. Tell me a bit about the people who are on this album with you guys.
So let's see. We had Dan Sugarman. That was really cool to get him to work with us. He had done a couple tracks with us. He actually came and shot the video, and it turns out, kind of picking his brain, he was a huge Daath fan back in the day. So that was really cool for him, I think, too. He used to take lessons from Emil. I don't know, how the experience was for him, but at the end of one of his solos in the video, you can see him kind of do like the drop that Emil used to do, and that was kind of like a hat tip to Emil. Mark Holcomb from Periphery, that was really cool to kind of get to work with him. I've always been a huge fan of Periphery. And then Per Nilsson, Scar Symmetry, dude was in Meshuggah. And let's not forget Mick Gordon, infamous Doom. We're all Doom or.
And you got someone from Archfire too on the.
Yep, and then Dean Lamb.
There's a music video for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dean Lamb as well. It was really cool to kind of get to see him in person and meet him. I've never actually met any of those guys, and I only recently was introduced to them, and I've become a fan. So getting to meet him very recently after becoming a fan was really cool. Very chill guy, very down to earth. All of these guys, and I have to say, I think in my eyes, I've always loved seeing collaborations in metal. I go back to, Jonathan Davis and Chino, when they would do a hip hop track on a record, so I always loved seeing metal collaborations. So for me, it was really cool.
And you released like 5 songs already from the album, right? Or 4?
No, it would be 5. Yeah, we have released 5 tracks. Yeah. The first 3 obviously are different. And I say they're different only because they were written with a different mindset. The mindset was, let's see where these go. Maybe we'll get some interest. Who knows? But let's just write. Actually, we were going to write 1, and then it was, well, let's write 2, and then let's write 3. And then when we actually got signed, then it kind of shifted to, okay, now we have to make this the best record ever,
Yeah,
and we
because
have to.
you were unsigned at this moment, and you were signed again by Metal Blade Records.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Metal Blade signed us for this one, but yeah, we had actually shopped three different labels. We had Nuclear Blast, Century Media, and Metal Blade, kind of fighting for this one. But Metal
Yeah, for
Blade,
your old ones, was it with? I'm trying to remember. Was it with Roadrunner? I'm trying to
it was
remember.
Roadrunner, yep, and then it was Roadrunner, Century Media, and then it was just Century Media.
Okay.
Yeah, but Metal Blade was definitely the label to go with. They kind of understood our vision, and they really knew what we were trying to do. And it's been very cool to see what Metal Blade has really done with just this little bit of a release we've done. You know, they really support all of their bands equally, which is cool because most labels don't do that. They only give a certain percentage all of their attention and time, which makes sense. You know, that's what brings them in. Money. But
Yeah,
Metal
of
Blade
course.
definitely gives like equal attention to all their bands, which is so cool to see.
No, it's really cool. And so, uh, lyrically in themes, what themes are you uh like touching upon on this release?
I think a lot of them kind of touch all on the same thing. Obviously, most of it is in metaphors, but it's all about kind of persevering and rising up above, dealing with past demons and, kind of putting them to rest and creating this new rebirth. I think that's what a lot of them really kind of allude to. I mean, obviously, each song individually is about kind of something else. But I think that the overall tonality and theme of the record is just this resurfacing and like most of these interviews are, it's this hiatus and then the change from the hiatus to this I guess rebirth of this new butterfly, so to speak. I think that's what a lot of it really is. It's
Yeah,
kind of focused on that.
did you feel any pressure coming back, or was it like no pressure because like 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 it wasn't like any like you just came back, so did you feel pressure coming back or anything, or was it smooth?
Well, I've been doing music since I
Yeah.
never stopped. So I've been writing, you know, so many songs since I left off. So it never really felt like there was a pressure. I kind of feel like I have been holding all of these lyrics back because I knew that the plan was to kind of get back together. Obviously, I pulled from all of kind of the same material that I pulled from, but I think a lot of this stuff just felt like it flew onto the page. The music kind of wrote itself, and then the lyrics just kind of fell into place because the music has this, like you said, this kind of feel of the old music that it was just like, oh, this is what I should write here, and it just seemed to work perfectly. And obviously, I like to kind of leave lyrics as an open thing because
Mhm.
I've done a lot and I've written a lot, hundreds of songs. And so at some point you kind of start stepping on your old things. So it's nice to be open to someone saying, tap you on the shoulder, hey, you kind of already did something similar, or you may have used a similar lyric or a similar concept or a similar vocal pattern. Why don't we try something different here? So it was nice to kind of have everyone give a little bit of advice or a little bit of help, which really helped make it the best it could be. I'm not, tell me what you think. If this sucks, tell me, So I think that really made it, seriously, I think that really helps make it a cohesive record because everyone um, can kind of have their ears out for things that, someone may be like, didn't he already do that? Like,
Yeah, but
so,
I don't think like you had pressure from a record company, like you have to release like a due date. So was that like liberating, like that you had time maybe to work on these songs more, or
oh
did
no,
you?
we
Or
no,
you
we
had the
had a
constraint?
oh no, we had a date. No, so we
Oh,
wrote
okay.
the three. When we did the first three, yeah, that was, hey, whatever. I mean, I feel like the first three were, I think we took forever to write the first three, but we spent almost 10 grand of our own money. Like out of my own pocket, I spent like 3 grand just having the vocals produced for the three songs because we didn't have a label, and
Yeah, which were the three songs that you worked on first?
that was No Rest, No End, um, Silent Foray, and Purified by Vengeance. So those
Yeah.
are the first three that we had done. We actually, just a side note, we went back into those files after we did this. That's why we went to Jens again. He had all of the original mix files, and he listened to every song and remixed every song. And we gave
Wow.
new notes to make changes. So the songs you're going to hear on the record actually sound cohesive with the rest of the songs versus the singles. They may be louder, certain things may be off, or things may be quieter, but we kind of brought
Oh,
everything
but
to
I
a,
listened to the record.
yeah, kind of an even tier. Well, no, I mean, now if you listen to the singles versus the record and you have one of those ears that you can pick that up, they actually are different because we had to make them kind of the same. But yeah, there was definitely a pressure because once we wrote those three, we got the deal, and then it's well, damn, now we got to make a record. So, and they have to sound just as good, if not better. And you have 5 months to do it.
Okay, no pressure.
Yeah. But the pressure, I mean, I don't think I got the finished songs. I think we had to turn the record in October of last year. I recorded vocals. We had already set the time to record. I think it was the middle of July, and we had already booked the time. I don't think I got music until the end of May. So I didn't really have, I had basically June and then like a little bit of July to basically just write the record.
Okay.
Yeah, but hey, I think the pressure adds like a fire into your ass, Like
Yeah, well, yeah, because you gotta get stuff done in time. If there's no like due date, then you're like, so yeah, that makes
yeah, I'll
sense.
do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll finish that song tomorrow. No, I mean it was go go go. So
Okay,
yeah.
so I wanna show the artwork of the new record. So here is the new artwork for Daath, the Deceiver. So tell me a little bit about this artwork.
So yeah, that's Adrian Brody. We did decide to go with him. We just wanted kind of an adult, grown-up version of kind of our old art style. Obviously there is a lot of symbolism in there. I don't want to really get too deep into it. I'll leave that for the viewer, and 10 years from now, you may find some sort of symbolic meaning, but essentially that's the the aura, what's it called, the Ouroboros, the foot and mouth, the ever evolving circle. There is no beginning, there is no end. Perfect harmony. I think that's really what the deer with the foot in the mouth really means. And the
Okay.
rest of it kind of just fits along with maybe certain lyrical themes or certain symbolic imagery. But again, I don't want to get too in
Too
depth
deep into it.
into
Okay, yeah,
yeah
but it
into
looks
the
good.
symbolism of the
And
record. I'll leave that to you to decipher. If you want to ask me in a year and you've had time to I see you out on tour, you're like, hey man, I was looking at this, and I'm like, it's kind of for the listener to decipher. It's one of those records where I've always been a fan of that. You look on a record, you're like, what is that in the background? Like, I've never noticed this. You know how you pick up the art, you look at it as you listen, and then one day you catch something. I think that's kind of what we present to you there. Just, kind of like an ever evolving piece of artwork.
yeah, no, and it looks cool. And for me, Death always was like a progressive, like death metal type of band.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of sides to yourself. So and this record, it's a record it sounds really good, and it's really like fast, but it like I like that your lyricals, your vocal style, like you do cleans, you do like more non-cleans, but it all works out. So for you in the singing way for this, how do you approach that? Like do you like when you listen to a melody and like this needs some clean vocals? Like how do you what is the process for that?
So I think a lot of that is a natural thing. Um, I think in the end, yeah, that's what ends up happening is you kind of go back through and you've listened to it a million times, and it does kind of sound a bit stagnant because I use the same vocal style throughout the whole song. It's nice to have changes, but I think doing this for shoot, man, I guess I've been doing this for 20 something years now, 20, 24 years.
That's right.
Professionally, about 18 years or something. So I think you kind of develop a style where I like to do choruses kind of in that more screamy style, more pitched scream. And then I always like to have kind of the verses be more death metal, more aggressive. But there is no formula to it. It's just whatever fits the bill at the time. And then obviously, when I was recording the vocals, we had Andrew Wade, who is an award-winning producer. I love everything that dude's done. I mean, some of the music he's done is meme quality. Disrespect your surroundings. I don't know if you know that, but
Yeah.
that's one. Yeah, that's him. That's a day to remember. So he really brought a lot of that out too. He hears things. He has a knack for it. That dude doesn't do metal, but he has a metal brain when it comes to vocals and lyrics. He has more like a pop brain. So he actually helped write some parts. We'd be in the studio and I'd lay down the lyrics and he'd say, "Nah, man, I have a different idea for this part. Why don't you try this? And let's try to be quicker with the vocals here. Or let's try to, some of those rapid fire things I did were actually his idea, a guy who's a pop producer. So, I think it's just a natural progression of listening over and over again. You just want to make it interesting and keep the parts kind of moving, but you don't want to be all over the place. But I don't really see it so much of a progressive tag. I see it more as what I like to call the band is classical death metal, because it just reminds me of classical music with heavy guitars. Like they're just basically plugged in amplifiers. But we do have verses and we do have choruses, and
Yeah.
we may go off on a tangent, but we always come back to that verse, chorus, verse structure at some point.
Maybe it's good that you work with like a producer that's not like a metal guy, because he'll give you like non-metal like suggestions. Like,
Exactly. And that was exactly what I wanted. I was looking for that next level of vocals. I don't want to just be the same vocal like everyone else is doing. I mean, I'm sure there's
yeah, but
probably
people
tons
who
of stuff
watch
out there
this
that
and
sounds the same.
there's songs out, don't worry, Daft does not sound like a pop band. Yeah,
No, not at all. Not, I mean, you can hear the songs. I mean,
yeah,
but I mean, we've always kind of went into that. I think when I did Concealer stuff, I was listening to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears, like studying choruses. Like, what are these people doing to make these successful choruses? There's a formula, and those people don't even write their own music. They obviously have like a Max Martin will come in and write all of the music and everything for the person. Obviously, that's not what we did here, but
no, no, of course.
there is a formula to how to write a good chorus. And I think, sometimes it's okay to ask someone to be like, "Hey, man, what do you think of this chorus? What could I do to make this better?"
Yeah,
I
because
think you put
I think like choruses are important because that's mostly what you remember from a song.
exactly, yeah, the memorable parts, the things that you sing later, the things that get stuck in your head, and that's really what I was looking for. And you can hear a lot of the choruses on there are very catchy or memorable choruses. And I think that's just because of how they were produced.
And it's not an easy thing to do. Like when I think of like a metal band with really catchy choruses, well, you said A Day to Remember, but I haven't been a huge fan of their last albums. They went too into the pop realm. But a perfect
Yeah,
example for me would be like a Killswitch Engage. Yeah,
exactly.
there's a band that has kept like their true sound, but they're great with the choruses. Like
Yeah, the choruses.
their choruses stay in your brain and they're really good. And yeah, I think that's an important thing because there's some metal bands that, yeah, they're like pummeling all the way, but you don't remember the choruses. And I think
Yeah, yeah,
it's like you have to be memorable for you to remember. And I like it that it's not all like you didn't do that formula of like breakdowns and stuff like that.
No, 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 no. Yeah. There really aren't any breakdowns on the record. I mean, there are,
Yeah.
but it's different types of breakdowns. They're more those classical breakdowns, like the things we all grew up liking as
Yeah,
kids.
it's a fast-moving record, and it sounds like very fresh and modern too. Like it's
Yeah,
not
that's cool.
anything.
That's good to hear. I appreciate that. That means a lot. That's what we
Yeah,
were going for. A fresh, updated take on New Daath. That was kind of the goal.
yeah. So So now that the album is almost upon us, what are the plans? Are you gonna do tours?
Yeah, touring is obviously coming. It's just a matter of time. We just got to get all the stars have to align. We all kind of have our own thing going on the side, so it's just a matter of finding the right tour, um, and finding the right time. I mean, I would say in the next year you'll definitely see us out on tour. I mean, we have to tour. That's part of the deal with signing to a label. They want you to tour, you know?
Yeah, that's how you make
Yeah.
the money. So I'll put the
Yeah.
links for the Metal Blade for where like people can pre-order the vinyl and the record and everything.
I have to I have to do
Oh,
my unboxing. I have it right here. I just got it actually.
oh, nice. You're gonna do a nice unboxing video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. So, Sean, before I let you go, I know you're a busy guy and you probably have a few more interviews to do. What would you like to say to the fans that have stuck with Daath even through all these years where you were not releasing music?
I appreciate the interest, the people staying in touch and having those memories. I think we really hit on a lot of that. I think we handled that with care, like holding a basket of eggs, because I think the old nostalgic feelings still need to be there to retain the old fans. So never fear. I think this record is the best thing we've ever done, and those nostalgic feelings are there once again to create all new memories and all new emotions. And just thanks for sticking with the band, and I look forward to seeing you guys out there on the road.
Nice, Sean. Well, I want to thank you for taking some time today of your day to join me virtually today
Of
on the
course. Of course.
It's
I wish
been
I could be there with you, buddy. I'd put my I'd give you a hug and give a peace out.
yeah. Yes, like yeah, if you like I would love to see the band on tour. I never seen you guys on tour, so it would be cool to see you guys live. So people, the new Daath album is out, I think May the 3rd. The Deceivers out of Metal Blade Records. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.